Hello, welcome back to the RC Pilots Log. My name's Rob. As you would have seen from the intro and from my posts on Instagram and on the YouTube community tab, I've lost the Citabria. In front of me are the largest parts of what remains of 12 months work, building, covering, setting up, and I'm quite devastated. I was so proud of this model and I was so pleased with the finish and the quality of the build that I managed to achieve for my first quarter scale Balsa build, and to see it in this condition and in this state is just is heartbreaking. I won't be over dramatic. There's a lot worse things in the world than crashing your model plane, but I have a replacement here. It's not a Citabria. And if you stick around to the end, I'll open this package and we can take a look together at what I'm going to be building next. But I wanted to take a few minutes to talk about this, talk about what happened, and why I think it happened, and what went wrong. So let's start rolling some video. When I got to the field, I'd had painted the new cowl. That was all painted. I wasn't happy with the colour match. It's not perfect to the aura cover, despite the can saying it is matched to it. But the engine wasn't running quite right, and I taxied for a takeoff, and it just didn't have any power. So I aborted that, came back to the pits, took the cowl off, tweaked the engine slightly, and was ready to go. So the cowl is the only piece that is still intact from the Citabria. Maybe it's an omen about painting cowls, I don't know. So the colour match really was not important in the scheme of things, and I think kind of worrying about the details like that, it kind of detracts a little bit from the hobby if you just want to fly. And I'm not a 100% pure scale guy. I want a functional plane that I love flying, so wasn't too worried about that in the scheme of things. So anyway, with the engine tuned, I did what to me looked like a nice scaled takeoff, and it started going into the air quite nicely. Bit of a steep climb out, but the plane was going well, the engine was running nicely, and I had full control. As I turned to do a downwind leg, you'll see in the video that the plane kicked up again and pitched up, as it has done previously, but then it banked to the left, and by that point I had absolutely no control. My transmitter said signal lost, and it never returned, and it did a very long, slow, or quite a fast but a wide spiral down into the ground, and that was difficult to watch, to be completely powerless to control the model that I'd spent so long building. It was only its 5th flight. I went through every motion of kind of waving the transmitter around and all this sort of stuff, trying to regain signal, but it just never came back. So initially it was denial of, oh no, this isn't happening, what's going on, this can't be happening, through to the realization that I was completely helpless to do anything about it. And it went in hard. You can't pick up the sound on the video, but in person it was a massive noise, a really loud thud and a crunch as it went into these trees, the woodland just on the far side of our field. Just behind that woodland is a fishing pond, and just to the left of where the plane went down is actually a car park for that fishing pond. By the time I'd walked over to kind of see what was going on, there were 2 fishermen there already picking up pieces for me and collating it all. And my first reaction was, is everyone okay? Did it hit anyone? Is everyone okay? My second was, did it hit a car? Because we were just meters from this car park. But the wreckage was strewn everywhere. It was a significant impact. Very fortunate it didn't explode. It was a full tank of gas, full tank of petrol. The engine has actually survived. I've run that up now already. There appears to be no issue with it whatsoever. I'll do a lot more testing of it if I'm going to use it again, but all that was just a very slightly bent cooling fin. All of the bearings seem good, and as I said, I've run the engine up already, so I'm quite pleased I got away with that, but remains to be seen whether I will fly this again. They're quite durable units, so it may be that we didn't do a full-on engine first impact, because I was in some trees, maybe it got spun around or whatever, but the damage is extensive. You know, I don't think I've seen one quite as bad as this, and certainly not in person. So there are a few things that were going through my mind in terms of a cause for this. Was it signal loss due to my radio, a receiver setup? If you recall, a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago now, I had a little glitch in the flight where it fail-safed and kicked the tail up, but it recovered. After that, I changed the receiver, repositioned it, made sure the antennae were correctly orientated, checked all my firmware on the radio, checked everything out, did range tests, and that was all fine. So I was confident going into the last flight, that there wasn't a radio issue. However, I hadn't solved, or couldn't conclusively rule out any radio issue. My range test was fine. It was flicking into half power mode on the FlySky PL18. Walk 25 to 30 meters away and do my range tests, and that all worked out fine. What's interesting about the incident is when I lost signal, the plane didn't fail-safe. My fail-safe settings are straight and level and kill the throttle. None of that happened, as you can see in the video. It pitched up, banked right, and carried on at about half throttle. What I think happened was that this RCC SKJ power distribution unit had an issue. I think it lost power to the receiver, therefore it's complete signal loss and no control over the servos to flick into failsafe, to neutralize the controls, etc. I think the receiver lost power. I think all the servos just stayed where they are or neutralized, and the throttle servo went to center, meaning that the throttle was half open, and I think the culprit, unfortunately, was this box. As per kind of what seems to be usual, is I can't find an issue with it on the bench. I can't find any issues with any of the circuitry. I can't replicate what happened, so it can't be confirmed. But I won't be using this again. I think maybe if you're doing a ground-based vehicle, it would be a good unit to use. If you've got kind of construction vehicles or some sort of robotic type thing, that would probably work out well. But for me, I'm going to avoid that. A big lesson and a takeaway for me on this build is to keep it simple, and I didn't do that. I got drawn in by the big numbers, the high torque, the high voltage, high power solutions that required a unit like this to run them. I got drawn in by redundancy of dual batteries and variable voltages and the ability to customize and a neat install, when really all I needed was a couple of UBECs, an opto kill switch and a few hardware switches, and this would have been absolutely fine. There's very little point running redundant batteries and redundant systems unless you do the entire solution, the entire power and radio system. If it has full redundancy, then it's worth it. But if you're still coming down to a single point of failure, i.e. a receiver or power feed to a receiver, then you could end up in a similar situation. There's no guarantees in this hobby, and crashing is part of it, but when you put as much time and effort into a model like I did on this, you kind of want to mitigate it as best as possible, and I don't think I did that. I think I kind of did a halfway solution with kind of lower end hardware, lower end electronics. So big takeaway for my next project here is keep it simple. You know, the simpler components, the UBECs and the opto kill switches, generally are cheaper for a better quality item, and that's the route I'm going to go. So in summary, really disappointed that this went down. I think it was this power unit. I can't guarantee it. I cannot do that. I can't confirm that. I do have a couple of other lines of inquiry open. A big one of note is that our flying field is only a few miles away from Gatwick, and the day before, the 2 days before this crash, there was a NOTAM issued, a notice to airmen issued about some signal jamming testing going on at Gatwick, and one of our club members, we were talking on our club WhatsApp group, posted these NOTAMs up along with another one with the same wording but including 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. If that is the case, I think it's a long shot. I was flying solo, there were no other planes in the sky, so if it was a signal blocking from Gatwick or some sort of anti-drone system, who's to know. I'm going to send a couple of emails and see if I can get any sort of confirmation that this testing was taking place and if it impacted 2.4 gigahertz. We're also going to get a survey done at the site, the flying field, I think, via the BMFA, and get some real solid data on whether there are interference signals at our flying site, because I want to be able to trust the airspace they're flying, but if I can't at certain times, I want to know what those times are. And I think these NOTAMs make me question the longevity of flying in vicinity of an airport, or within 14 nautical miles, I think was the radius of this NOTAM, and we're definitely within that. I live about 10 miles from Gatwick, and the flying field is closer to Gatwick than I am. So if there was something, a defence anti-drone solution in place, it could well cause something like this, but I don't think it caused this one. So just something I'm looking into, and maybe if I get some information, I'll share that just for information really, and something to watch out for if you fly near an airport. So very sad end. I get to keep the cowl intact as a little memento, and actually, if anyone's got a Citabria and they want a cowl, let me know. You can have this one for free, cover postage. Yeah, without further ado, let's get the new project out. So while I was moping around feeling sorry for myself about the loss of my plane, I was on just on a, as you do, a little kind of retail therapy to G myself up a bit, and I came across an advert for this on the BMFA Classifieds website, which is the British Model Flying Association, and there were several kits on there listed, but this one caught my eye. It's something I've wanted for a while, and it's kind of just a different model to the Citabria. I didn't want to rebuild another Citabria. I've been there and done that. I didn't really get to explore the model and the full capabilities of it, but I built it, and I wanted to do something different. So this is something different for me. It is a quarter scale, and it's a kit that is very hard to find now, especially with the kind of global shortage or demand of Balsa, global shipping issues and things like that. Getting a Balsa kit at the moment is either very expensive or very hard to do. So I was pleased to pick this up. And this is genuinely me opening it for the first time. I don't know the age of this kit. I know they've been made for quite a long time, but I don't know if this one is a newer off the production line or older. But I have a SIG quarter scale clipped wing tub, which I'm very, very excited about. It's a heavy old box. So I bought this used, obviously from the BMFA Classifieds. Used as in it's not brand new to shelf. It's new in box, but has been opened, but hasn't been built. There we go. So I will do a full unboxing of this, and we will do a full video series on the build, just like the Citabria. So if you enjoyed that, do stay tuned. Don't forget to click the bell and subscribe to follow along if you're not. But this is a complete kit. There's everything in here. Plans, huge amount of plans there. Wow. Build manual, and it looks like a fantastic quality kit here. All the stickers. So I'll do an unboxing video, but I look forward to getting stuck into this. And the seller chucked in a couple of wheels for me as a nice little bonus. So thanks for that, Adam. some wheels there. Brilliant. Well, thanks for watching. Before I get too stuck into this, I should end the video. But thank you again so much for watching. Thanks to everyone who follows along, who likes, shares and subscribes. Please don't forget to click subscribe, it really does help. There's a lot going on with changes to YouTube ad revenue, and subscribers and your views really do make a difference to me being able to do what I enjoy. And it doesn't cost you anything. So if you'd really like to do me a favour, click subscribe, click the bell icon, and maybe give a thumbs up if you like the content I'm putting out there, because I really like it, I really enjoy it, and that's why I do this. So thank you very much, thanks for watching, happy flying.